Hey guys, this is Hamid again, author of the book Seven Figure Agency Mindset A to Z, an architect of top global digital agencies. Today's topic is very interesting and it all depends on the self-belief for yourself. The reason I say self-belief because the topic of today's video is about being into the top 10 locally. You might be starting at a small scale, probably $5,000-$10,000 a month, or maybe an agency which is struggling for the revenue and scalability and thinking about going to the top 10. Does that make sense? It does make sense. So the number one thing that you need to have is believe in yourself. So when I started back in 2013 and 14 as a freelancer, I had in mind that I want to take my company, my agency to the top 10 rankings. And I made it up because I had a belief. I took the direction which I'm going to share with you today. So be with me for the rest of the video. So guys, the number one thing that you need to be top 10 locally for your agency is to actually go local. Why to go local? It's really important to understand that when you start an agency, which could be, let's say, a healthcare digital agency, a fintech company, or you might be focusing on certain keywords or skills or activities. If you penetrate locally, so for example, we have an agency in United States, which could be sold globally. We have presence in New York City, we have presence in St. Louis, we have presence in Las Vegas, and that's where our most of the focus remains. Does that mean we do not accept the project if you get from Los Angeles? We do accept the projects. However, there is a mechanism. So what do you need to be in the top 10 is to be into the top search engine rankings in your local area to start with. And once you start penetrating locally, then you can go to the national. So if you have an agency in the United States, or if you have an agency in United Kingdom or UAE, I would suggest that you start from Dubai and not UAE. I would suggest that you start from London. I would suggest that you start from Los Angeles and not the whole United States. I would suggest that you start from a local area and start penetrating. So the number one thing is, after you've made your website, which is ranking pretty good as well. I've covered that in my other chapters of my book, that don't say SEO is dead. SEO is not dead. SEO works. SEO works for your agency as well. Yes, you have to be focused locally. So if you're focused locally, if you're doing good for your site, you have a landing page, you have services pages, you have local pages, that means you're doing good for your site. You know what is the next step for you? The next step is identifying the local listing sites. What are those local listing sites? What I'm talking about? I'm not talking about overall business directories. I'm talking about agency listing sites. What are those sites? What are those listings? For example, the number one directory which I've seen and observed in my agency career is the clutch. So into the clutch, you can actually make a profile, select your city, put up some really cool keywords, set up some good description, set up your portfolio out there, and make a very optimized profile in the clutch. There are some other directories available as well. I personally like Design Rush a lot. Design Rush is very active. And if you're doing good at Design Rush, you can actually get into the PR very soon as well. So that means if you're getting reviews from your clients into the clutch, into Design Rush, then there are higher chances that they will mention you into their PR news and the blogs that they write. So what are some other business listing sites for agencies? That could be Top Developers, that could also be Yelp, and that could be Good Firms, G2, and some other listing sites as well. So you gotta make sure that you're choosing to make your profile at those places. But let me give you another hack. You have to penetrate not to all the business listings, but have one or two good listing sites and then penetrate your profile accordingly. And it works just like any other sales channel. What are the next things that you guys need to keep in mind in order to be in top 10 for that business directory? And then that business directory or that agency directory or agency listing site will get you into the top 10. The next one is, as per the book, it says, review the requirements for listing your agency in each directory. So some agency business listing sites could be good for listing your tech platforms. For example, like you are focusing Python as an agency, then you might gonna go with good firms or similar sites. But if you're focusing, let's say, to different industries like healthcare, fintech, probably you wanna go with Clutch. So wherever you go, just find out what are their strengths and make sure that you put up your strength area into their niches section. You put up your services correctly, you put up your strengths correctly, make sure that you're actually fit into that particular directory. What is the next one? The next one is determine the size of the directory and its audience demographics. That essentially means the size and reach of the directory. If that particular directory is focused towards United States, that may not be fit for someone who got an agency in New Zealand or Australia, or probably in Middle East. If you have made the profile over there, you might not get the same traction. So do your due diligence to make sure that which are the best agency directories in your local area and into the local city as well. The next one is the target audience, the competition, the cost itself. Why I say that? Because in some of the listings, they may ask you about the cost, but no. My message and my recommendation for you is initially find out the way to be into the top 10 organically. That essentially means that you may have to work a little bit more to optimize your listing, to put up good portfolios, to put up good description, to make sure that it looks really good, lucrative, and it's actually portraying who you are actually. And then you have to start getting reviews from your customers to make it look optimized. This way, it will take your efforts, but organically you can also be top 10. And even if you pay a directory to be into the sponsored, let's say Yelp asks for sponsored listing as well. But if you don't have reviews, it might not work for you because every customer wants to make sure that they are transacting with the right agency. So they need a trust level, and trust comes with optimized profile and also the good reviews. So make sure that your directory is organically rocking as well. And another important factor for determining your agency is consider the reputation of the directory within your industry and evaluate the domain authority and credibility of the directory itself. Now, what is domain authority? You got to check that if you're an SEO expert. But just make sure that that site is actually rocking up well. So if somebody's searching for top SEO companies into the New York City, so the directory where you are listing up your agency should be coming up into the rankings themselves. What if the directory where you are putting up your listing is at the page 4 for top SEO rankings and you're trying to optimize your profile? It's not going to work. So do your due diligence and make sure that the keywords and industries and skills where you are putting up for that particular industry listing, they're actually doing good for those keywords into their search rankings and they have good domain authority as well. And guys, one of the important factors is also to check whether the directory has a strict vetting process for listing agencies and also for getting the reviews as well. So if that directory do not have a good process to list the agencies, if anyone and everyone can be listed, and if anyone and everyone can actually put up the reviews, I'm sorry that there might be a lot of spams and unnecessary competitions that you may have to encounter with, and you better check with the credibility of that particular listing as well. So you got to make sure that you have a reputable listing where you have listed your agency. And then you have to apply for rewards. How does the reward mechanism works? Number one, identify the awards. So for example, you're doing good in SEO, you have an SEO agency, you have listed your agency into that particular directory SEO listing, you have done in description, you have optimized your profile for reviews. Go ahead and apply for the awards. You might get an email onto the designated point of contact email with a request for the recognition into that particular listing. Do not forget to opt in for that email. And after identification of the awards, just look for the research criteria. And that particular criteria could be more number of reviews, good market presence, and good things that people are saying about your company. And that could be inside the listing and that could be outside that particular listing as well. So when they make an announcement about the best SEO agencies in New York City, they're actually true about it. So they will be caring about the reviews outside that particular listing as well. So on the parallel, do not forget, take some reviews onto the Google and maybe on Trustpilot as well. And then go ahead and submit your request to be into the top 10 rankings for that particular listing, and then wait. They will be evaluating your listing. And if you have done a good job, rest assured that one good day you will get an email, hey XYZ agency, you will be announced as one of the local top 10, top 20, top 50 and top 100 local agencies. What a good day to celebrate. And if you do that, just do not forget to mention Hamid Mahmood over there if you got the roadmap from here. So I wish you good luck going to the top 10 for your local agency. I'll keep coming up with some really cool videos for you. Until then, do not forget to notify yourself from the subscribe button and watch out what I'm doing onto the rest of the videos into the YouTube. Thank you. And if you have not ordered the book, 7-Figure Agency Mindset A to Z, you will not be able to actually understand the whole roadmap and a blueprint for your success to go 7 figures and multiple 7 figures for your agency. So go ahead and buy it from hamidthepro.com. And guys, while I shared with you a few mechanisms of what should be the criteria of selecting the listings and how to go to the top 10, in the next part, I'll be coming up with more criterias until you achieve the top 10 rankings.